Hi, my name is John Jesse, and I'm doing this video to promote a book I have coming out called Poetry of Life, Volume 1. It's coming out through the company Publish America, and it'll be available on Amazon.com. Now, before I go any further into it, I want to let you know that I'm not used to doing videos. I'm not used to being on the spot, so if I stop talking for a second or something, I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm just trying to regather my thoughts, and I have a list of stuff down here that I'm going to talk about to try to keep this going as smoothly as possible. And if my attention is kind of averted or something, or my attention kind of goes away for a second, you know, I do like talking about this, but once again, I'm not used to making videos. I'm not used to having to focus like this all the time. So that being said, since you guys kind of know how I am, my wife is filming this right now, and what inspired me to start writing poetry in the first place is things go on all the time that we need to get out of our system or whatever. You know, some people write diaries or whatever. I started writing poetry for just stuff that was on my mind, and it turned out to have a really good effect on me. It helped it filter all that out. And after the first several, I started looking at it and saying, hey, I actually write some really good stuff. It's actually really, really interesting. I can feel what I'm writing in my soul. And it's really touching me to read about it, like I was almost reading about somebody else. And I was like, well, I wonder how far I could really take this. And I kept writing more and more and getting more of a collection going. And I was like, I wonder if I can actually go professional with this. So that's pretty much what inspired me to start all this. And as soon as I wanted to look at it in a professional manner, the first thing I said was, okay, I want to make sure that my poetry is easy to understand. That there's no codes in it, no strange words or anything. It's all written in a way that's easily understood, and my poetry is very story-based. Every poem either tells a story or it makes a statement about something. So every poem I write is very easy to get something out of, and I write it so it'll hopefully stick with people, so it'll be worth remembering. You're not going to walk away from my poetry, or I hope not, and forget about it 5 minutes later because it was just uninteresting and didn't touch you in some way. If I thought I was writing something that was easily forgettable, I wouldn't bother writing it in the first place. And my goal is always to get the reader thinking about whatever subject or whatever statement I'm trying to make, and almost bring a sense of adventure, like writing about some kind of emotion they've had or something they may have gone through, just something that's very memorable and can touch them in some way. And if I'm writing something that if I'm writing something, it has to make sense. If I can't tell what I'm writing about, then how's a lot of other people supposed to remember what it is? And as far as who my influences are, I don't really want to mention any names, but a lot of the feeling from my poetry came from certain bands and music that have really touched me, you know, from a professional angle. And so I took the energy that I got from the music that I love and would start writing my own words and my own feelings, and I let the two kind of gain a connection. And I took how they inspired me and took it off to my own place. So that's basically where a lot of my influences come from, is, you know, bands I've loved listening to over the years and whatnot. And I try to write about everything, about things that almost any age group can relate to. But, you know, and any emotion too. Because sure, adults have emotions too, but also teenagers have really strong emotions, and I think they go through stuff that's even more powerful than adults go through, because they're in development, and either they're not really sure how they feel, or their emotions are all out of control and they don't know what to do with it. So I've tried to understand some of that and bring that out as best I can and as honestly as I can for how I would feel if I was going through some of the stuff. And on some of the stuff I may be correct in what I write and how people feel about things, or I may not be, all I can say is I'm human, and I try. But I always try to be very honest about how I think people might feel about a certain subject or a certain statement I'm trying to make, or whatever the case may be. Okay, what do I talk about next here? I'm sorry. Okay, and like I said, being honest about what I write it's more important to me than anything, because I know that if I'm writing about a subject and just being false about it, people are going to know that. And if I do fall off the mark with something that I'm talking about, then I'm sorry, but I do the best I could. I'm human just like you are. I don't always get my own instincts right. So here's another pause here. I had this stuff written down, but okay. Oh, and another thing that I'm glad I didn't forget to mention, actually. The book does not have hardly any swearing in it. There's no profanity. Maybe a word or two slipped here and there, but not much. I prefer to stay away from profanity. I believe there's better words to use that are not profane, and the way I take great care to word things to where they're not using swear words or anything like that, but it's still powerful. I'm a big believer in that. Not using profanity, but still using the right words, so you definitely get the message, and the message cuts like a razor blade, and you know how I'm feeling as I write about stuff. So pretty much the books in the presses right now, from Publish America, but as soon as it gets done there, it's going to be going to Amazon as soon as it's ready for purchase. So I'm hoping this will reach a lot of people, because let's face it, YouTube is the greatest way to reach a ton of people, and I don't know every person out there. I can only tell so many people, so I have to rely on YouTube to reach as many people as I humanly can. You basically can't really build a career without it, and without reaching as many people as possible. And that's what I want this to turn into, is a career. I want to keep on writing. Like the name of my book is Poetry of Life, Volume 1. It's only Volume 1. I was only able to give them about half the poems I actually have written. I have at least a good couple hundred written, but I was only able to give them about half of them, because they can only do so much at one time. But I'm always going to be writing more material, and I still have a ton of material backlog that I haven't even put down on a computer yet. So other things I'm writing, I'm not only going to be doing poetry, but I don't know how much more than that. I have my autobiography going right now, which is not that I've led a big fantastic life or anything, but I've led a very emotional life, is what it is. And I've gone through some different stuff emotionally, not drugs or anything, nothing like that, just purely emotional. I don't believe in drugs. I'm very, very anti-drugs. But just it's about a bunch of stuff that's gone on in my life, and my grandma always told me I should write my life story and put it on paper, so that's in the plans. I've got it written out already. I just need to put it on computer, which is what I'm working on doing right now. And also my wife Becca and I are working on on a relationship book called Love at First Sight. Can it work? Or something to that effect. And we're not professionals, we're not professional psychologists or anything. We've just been through a lot in our lives as far as looking for love, and we were lucky to find each other through a blind date, and luckily we get together well enough that it worked, and we just really work well off of each other. And we figured that by writing a relationship book based on our own experiences, it would be a great way to share some advice from one person, from one friend to another. Like someone asks you for advice. Okay, well, I've done this, I've done that, I've been through that. So, and then I do have another book that's that I'm still thinking of how to do because it's story based. I'm not going to tell you the title to it, but I can say that it's geared to kids about maybe 9 or 10 years old. But the thing is, I'm not really sure where to go with it because I'm not used to doing things that are story based. I'm used to just zeroing in on one little feeling or event and kind of branching off from that. I'm not used to doing a whole big long story. I mean, I like the story idea that I have for the book. I'm just not sure how to develop it really. So that's going to take some time. But anyway, I just wanted to share with as many people as possible about this book. And once again, it's called Poetry of Life, Volume 1. It's going to be available through Amazon. It's on the printers right now at Publish America. So I'm hoping this reaches as many people as possible. Sorry for my little bit of blunders or whatever, but like I said, I'm not used to doing this. But thank you everybody, and I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.